Complexities turn to ban. Seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Complexities turn to ban. Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Earth Spirit.
Radiant team pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Legion Commander.
Radiant team pick. Lena. Complexities turn to pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Templar Assassin.
Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds.
I'm great, man. Let's get into this. We're late, so chat's starting to cry. We gotta appease the chat gods. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. What'd you do for the break, man? Alright. I'll practice my English. What do you put in your tea? Ew. Thanks, mate.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Oh, the 3K is gonna let me talk now? Thank goodness. I'm just kidding. No, I don't care about MMR that much. Although it'd be nice if you could raise it up a lot more. There's just too many variables that it's really hard to get from 7 to 8K. It's like going... There's just a lot of throwers nowadays, and a lot of people who just give up immediately. I hope eventually people just stop playing like that. They start trying harder and always want to try. Even though Dota is about picks, and sometimes you do get outpicked, still you should try every game. And the mentality is... It's always nice to have that mentality, but a lot of people don't, just give up. But yeah, like you said, that's a lot of cool background there from Complexity Gaming. Bears, didn't they get picked up eventually by Cloud9? Am I thinking? Or is that was... Oh yeah, the Danish Bears.
10 seconds remaining.
Okay.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yep. This is gonna be interesting to see how things work. Normally, we've talked about Earth Spirit, and well, I talked with the mic before, like the other day when we saw it a lot when Flea was handling Earth Spirit. Now it's on the opposite side, so they're kind of like deny picking it as well as picking up for themselves. This hero is very weak early on. His roaming potential is, I think, it's not that strong anymore because of the slow, and it's not strong, and then you need to get up to at least like level 2 stun, it feels like, to be very impactful. But if you're once you get into that mid game, that's when the hero starts to shine. You get the silence, you get the stun, you get the magnetize, and that's where you just have to stop the bleeding. ES can also stack really well for the TA this game, roam around, get runes. So I think it's still a decent hero if you're trying to get up these stacks for the TA. TA matches up really well versus Lina, as we saw. And then now they have even more minus armor from the Dazzle side. So that's Complexity's lineup. I'll let you do the honors with the other side.
Silencer.
Complexity's turn to pick. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I'm not sure. I think this is a silencer support still. I think they want to put the Ogre mid with the Lina and then completely shut down the TA and then let CCNC snowball. It seems like is GG, they don't have as much success unless CCNC is on Lina and is snowballing. So that's why they prioritize this Lina so early on, and that's why they're also prioritizing this Ogre to try and help her out. You could also potentially put Silencer mid. I don't think it's as good as a Lina though. You get Silencer against TA. It's okay. I mean, you have the Arcane Curse to take off the refraction, but at the end of the day, I think you get more out of the Lina kill potential on the TA mid with the Ogre roaming. And then Ogre, he can start top 2 as well if he wants to with the Legion. And a Legion plus Ogre, I don't know how you match up against that. They do have a Dazzle heal bomb, so that's a little bit comforting for Complexity. But right now they need a core hero that can get a Manta style or the offlaner. Now, Clockwork this game is very, very strong. Well, probably one of the strongest picks. They could have potentially got Dazzle. I mean, not Dazzle. Darkseer to combo with the Earth Spirit. Another hero that can build into Greaves for that offlane. But instead they're going to go for Clockwork. Set up a lot of these kills. Pretty much can solo kill Lina at any time. As well as the Silencer. So very strong hero here.
Reserve time. 10 seconds remaining. Complexity
Yeah, I mean,
turns
at the
to
same time, it's... Let's see what is GG are trying to do, right? Like you said, Complexity kind of doing this split pick off with TA farming, and then they're going to get objectives. TA going to be the tower hitter. Is GG, they're going to go around the map. As we saw, Lena normally gets Shadow Blade. Legion Commander can just go around the map, go for duels too. They have a really strong laning phase for IsGG, so that's probably what they're banking on, and then they're going to try to ride the momentum of that, whereas Complexity, as you said, which team wants to pick that split pusher? There's still Ember if any team really wants to commit that for their carry. There's still the Juggernaut, as I talked about. They kind of do want to... Yeah, Anti-Mage is really good
5 seconds remaining.
in this game, although you don't know what the last pick is, so you can be countered. Just some hero that can build a Manta style against Silencer is always nice, and there you go.
Radiant team pick.
A Spectre. We've been seeing this a lot.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. 5 seconds remaining.
More room for less error, I want to say. But at the same time, the Silencer ulti in these team fights, it's going to be a big nuisance for Dazzle. He's not going to be able to get off Graves sometimes. He's not going to be able to get off heals. So I want to see how impactful those Dazzle can be in team fights because the enemy team has a Silencer.
Yeah, I think that Sand King Silencer is just going to... He needs to get into level 6 at a decent time, but as soon as he does, like... I feel like Lifestealer is just so good against Spectre at most stages of the game. Even late game, like you can BK or you can pop Rage and I think stand fairly well toe-to-toe against the Spectre if you're on equal farm. Is that fairly okay? Like, am I fairly right on that? Yeah. If they're on even farm, then they can.
And then the Radiance Burn is just going to be doing a lot. So normally you're going to be able to pick off the backlines, and then you have ways to count the Lifestealer with the other cores, right? You have Grave, you have people who are probably going to be force stuffs. So when you play against a Lifestealer, you normally don't want to look at the head-to-head matchup sometimes, because the supporting cast can, like I said, they can kite the Lifestealer, as well as they can make it difficult for the Lifestealer to get these kills with the Grave, can kite them with the Clockwork Hooks, the Cogs. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it does. But back to your question, I guess, would be, I do think it can stand on equal footing if they're just like going man on man, because the Rage, you don't care about the evasion from the Radiance when you have Rage popped from the Lifestealer.
Right. Looks like right here we did see Z-Freak lay down one of these Observer wards. There's another one placed down by Sand King now and should be able to get the D ward in just a little bit. I'm assuming Z-Freak did not place another one, as there was Swindles calling out that he saw a teleport come in actually. So a little bit of vision given there, and now like IsGG want to come and contest for this bounty rune. Do we see Moo step too far afoot and maybe get punished for it?
That's a good question. This...
30 seconds to battle.
Oh, this is kind of cool too. I like this because what they're going to do is try and lay down like a light strike array as soon as somebody comes over, and that might force out a sentry ward down here on the south side, expecting that it was like right in this area right here. But little do they know that they will not catch that sentry if it's... they won't catch the observer ward that's blocking out the camp actually if they place one over that side.
They're not going to get caught. Said they're going to invade the enemy jungle.
Yeah.
So both Both teams are gonna get 2 for 2.
CCNC should be able to make his block, I think. He's actually a little bit behind it. So TA will start out with a better one. And, well, for now at least, we're going to have to see if, you know, the Ogre is helping out Snaking at the start instead. Is this a tough lane for CCNC?
Tough lane once it's like level 3 for the TA. Then you can start seeing the domination. Ooh, nice stun. Starting off stun with Lina. Normally you don't see this, but he, like you said, he kind of maybe wanted it for the first blood, as well as just having the stun to maybe last hit better against the TA early on. Make sure he denies some CS.
In the meantime, Francis Lee up on the top side, causing some issues. Butterfly does end up finding that deny there, so no ward given, and it does look like they'll be able to have their camp available to him as well for pulls. Z-Freak comes in, and maybe he's going to try and make some damage happen, but this is an Ogre. He doesn't really care about anything. He's just going to run at you and hit you, and Z-Freak needs to back up a little bit.
No, there was 2 options they could run this Ogre. They shut down the TA or they shut down the enemy offlane, and I think it's better to shut down the enemy offlane this time because there's a Spectre, and you don't want her to have free farm, get to that urn, on in, and get all these free kills because you have all this extra damage coming in.
Yeah, so an early start already for SVG. Have the Legion Commander out DPSing and dealing with the Spectre pretty well. Firo's taking the beating in the mid lane against CCNC, just getting punched in the head, and oh, if he's not careful, he might just end up going down, burn through all those refraction instances. But CCNC able to pull off and pop the salve, so Firo's got to play it safe now.
Surprising he didn't go for those denies more. He could have probably denied all those creeps and been fine. If he just clicks on the Lina there, he should know that there's no mana. Ooh, this... Alright. CCNC is going to be fine.
Oh,
that's a level 2 Clockwork with only a Rocket Flare. That should have been a dead Lina if he had Battery Assault.
and also...
Oh, he might get the Courier here.
Yeah, they're looking for it.
Oh, they know.
It does look like CCNC is wise to it, though. It's hiding out in the trees. We'll see if he thinks about diving forward in here, as he hasn't seen it come out as of yet. Z-Freak, scouting. He wants to go for it. He's found the Courier. Just going to punch it in the woods. Getting ganked inside his own trees under tower. Z-Freak's out of there.
Yeah, and if that didn't happen, ES would have been completely useless for basically the rest of this game. He's only level 1 at 3 minutes. At least he gets some money for everybody else in the game, but you can see how useless Earth Spirit is nowadays. He couldn't really help top lane that much. He tries to roam around. Only thing he could really do is to help snipe the Courier. So it's like a poor man's Ricky right now, or Bounty Hunter.
I do really like that they're... I mean, and that's one thing, too, that's kind of a problem with it, is that if you have this Earth Spirit that's supposed to be roaming around trying to make stuff happen, it makes your laning stage a little bit weaker, but noticing that Snaking ended up going for this max points and overwhelming odds, Dazzle's taking some more Poison Touch to try and punish him a little bit, but you can just see how much damage this is doing for Moo. Like, he's forced to use the salve right now, and I guess that ends up being okay, because Snaking is now out of mana and can't really go for any more punishment onto Moo. Interesting.
I mean, they still have the Shrine to work with too for Snaking. Once he can also use this one more overwhelming odds and then go Shrine for this too. And then another thing to note is normally TAs always stay in lane, but he's actually not staying in lane. He decided to go back to the jungle. Wanted to give Z-Freak a little bit more EXP in the mid lane, but normally you don't see this ever in a TA versus Lina matchup. It's not normally this one-sided. You don't have to you normally don't have to go to the jungle in this matchup and you can out CS the Lina, but maybe the ping coming in, or I don't know what, maybe just getting outplayed a little bit. They do have stun on CCNC.
This might be a kickback situation, and he is going to go for it, but he misses the roll. CCNC played that really well.
It still wouldn't have been a kill though. I don't think they get the kill no matter what. It's just
I think it was a really good play.
It was a good play though. Bottom lane, Silencer gonna be picked up here. Stanking. First blood.
Drawn by Z-Freak. Yeah, I was going to mention that, you know, the Earth Spirit, he stole that Invis rune right from under CCNC's nose. Like, he knew
top
that
lane.
he was there the entire time. As they are going to die for this one and find that kill. And he played so far back the whole time that he knew a kick wouldn't put him all the way under tower. So just good recognition of that. Despite all of this emphasis that's in place towards this Lina in the mid lane, still 30-10 versus the 25-6. And
well, here's the
they're gonna
scary part
continue to
though. Now
punish.
is level 6. This is when Lina can easily die at any given time. So they have a lot of catch potential now with the slow, as well as then the double slow coming from ES. He's also going to be level 6 here, or level 3 here for the Earth Spirit, and that's when your level 2 1.2 2.5 second stun is actually useful on the ES, whereas the 0.75 is just super underwhelming. Interesting Spectre going for phase boots. I mean, not phase boots. Yeah, not phase boots and treads. No reason why for this.
Let you think about it a little bit more. I mean, maybe it's just the fear of being too squishy and wanting to stay alive, and I don't know. That's to me makes the most sense.
That's like
since
the
you know
only
you're
thing
those-
same.
The only thing that like would have ended up making a difference is because those infest bombs is stun goes back, does not end up connecting, and now cogs to try and create that separation. Z-Freak should be able to escape from this one, and I believe that Melons will as well.
Yep. Meanwhile, top lane gets turned around upon. Move.
Oh. They're bringing in another hero. They might take too much damage from overwhelming odds. Just back up in 1 second. This could be a kill if Legion wants to walk forward for it, but they're not going to decide to go. Instead, Snake King playing it a little bit more safe, holding on to that.
Yep. And then you can just see the problems that when you pick this ES, you just can't do anything early on. He rotated top, but then he doesn't even have mana to cast his spells. Going back a little bit to the move thing, it might help with the Desolate a little bit more, too, for the right clicks that I was thinking about. It doesn't give you the more mobility from running away. So, oh, well, I was told that Pharaoh's playing on a 180 ping, but that's what I said. I said that this earlier that there should be a huge ping discrepancy between mid. I play on like 140 playing on US West or Euro West. So 180, that's incredible. So I can understand why he's not having the best time against the Alina now.
Yeah, obviously just recently made those changes to the roster and still haven't had a chance to bring him out to the house, I'm sure. So we'll see if that does end up changing. And I'm sure that when they think getting closer to TI qualifiers, that there might be a different look of the team then as well. But so far, Flea just going to steal away that bounty rune. Now going to get ran at. And, you know, I think that they could throw literally everything at this ogre right now, and he still wouldn't go down. So freaking tanky.
Well, alright, I just gotta see 1-1 so far. This pace is definitely benefiting IsGG right now because Moo is just completely shut down. 34 CS compared to Legion's 47. And then he's just not getting complete free farm. But he's level 6 on Spectre. Now this is gonna be when the game starts getting hot and spicy. As well as Swindle's getting his 6. So I want to see what each side can, or the complexity side can do to kind of get back what they lost from the laning stage.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of movement, I'm sure, early on. You need to be really wary, obviously, of like the Legion Commander duel and then like an Infest Bomb or something. And even at the early stages, you can run at people just very quickly and dive them under tower, but it does look like Spectre's going to be going for the early rune, and this early movement as well with the Haunt trying to get involved. Fiero's going to be able to walk away from this, and CCNC might be the one to go down, but a big hit comes through with the overwhelming odds, and the Dazzle is not enough to keep him alive. Swindle pushing back to catching one. CCNC almost dead, is going to fall, and now Snake King, they're lining it up with those side blades coming through, but Moo is so slowed down. The Arcane Curse enough to dissuade them from going any further forward. Now they're thinking about going forward with Legion instead. Those were two huge overwhelming odds hits though. Did so much damage in those fights.
Yeah, let's see the damage that was done. Surprisingly enough, Silencer doing the most damage during that team fight. The Arcane Curse just coming out twice in that team fight. Pretty insane. And then it was on like 3-4 heroes at multiple times, so It did do a lot of damage. You said the overwhelming odds, and just the AoE. You can see the AoE difference there, and then Z-Freak messing up a little bit. He rolled in, and then he wasn't able to get off his kick immediately, and then he waited, hesitated a little bit too long, and then he got the stun off, and then it's kind of like a botched initiation.
Well, you do have Snaking now. It's going to run into Firo, looking for the duel. Is going to be able to find it here, and in the meantime, they also lost Z-Freak. Ice Striker Ray comes out. They will kill off Firo. Do not get the duel damage. But nonetheless, 2 dead for complexity.
So they used their haunt, they used their clockwork hook. They didn't get as much as they could have, and then ESGG completely straight back very fast. Now they're going to take this mid tower and keep up the pressure. With the arcane rune used on Snaking, he's going to have another duel up for the next fight. So it's going to be very interesting to see how ESGG want to approach this. Their lineup doesn't have big cooldowns besides Silencer ulti. So they're ready to put the pedal to the metal at any time.
And Moo queuing up the Hand of Midas now. The Lifestealer just finished his off about the 11-minute mark. So, I mean, what do you think about Hand of Midas on Spectre? He is going to end up dropping here, it looks like, and well, dual damage does end up going the way of Snaking as well.
I don't know if he didn't see the heroes running at them. Normally that play only works at nighttime, but that was just completely weird from Moo. Maybe he was looking somewhere else on the map, trying to set something up with a haunt. Not completely sure. Can't see the player perspective right there. That would be cool if we had that capability. But meanwhile, more kills, like you said, more dual damage going the way. Or that's actually the first duel. I thought he won the other duel with TA earlier, but nope. So first time on the board for Snaking. Meanwhile, they're going to go on this.
Yeah, haunted into it as well, and that is going to be frantically dropping down. They haunt to the other side now, seeing if they can catch Snaking. Unfortunately, getting fogged out, and Z-Freak, nothing off of cooldown with the exception of Geomagnetic Grip, so Legion will escape. They only lose the Ogre, and it costs them a haunt from complexity.
Yeah, it's like one of those situations where you have to haunt just so you get the earn charges, but at the same time you haunt and you only get an Ogre, and then you just feel like it's not worth it. So at the end of the day, you still have to haunt for those earn charges. And then Yor still hasn't gotten involved in this game at all. He's going to be playing mostly for, I guess, the late game here. As you said, he went for the Midas. Still doesn't have the armlet, so he doesn't pack too big of a punch just yet.
Oh, they are going to be going in, but now the boulder smashed a little bit off the mark. They hook shot in. They have found CC&C. He's in trouble. And Yor is just like, yeah, I don't want any part of that. I'm running away.
And Moo got the kill.
Yeah.
And so
big.
So Swindle so far this game has been on point with his hook shots. He hasn't really missed one. He's been hitting the Lina too, the prime target. So, and they don't really have any saves for the Lina yet. They don't have. All they kind of have is press the attack just to heal him up. They don't have Force Staffs or even Glimmer Capes to help out with the magic damage.
Oh, and another movement here. It does look like they're going to bring Lina back in again. Silencer has 6. Yeah, I think that maybe the idea is just you always are the ones that are going to be aggressive from ISGG, at least once they start to get their items up, or do you think that like it's going to continue to be a problem, the lack of saves for the Lina?
Eventually they'll have enough sustain. Like Ogre might be building the mech here, it looks like, and having that extra heal. Also, once he completes the blood stone, he's gonna have a lot more HP to work with. Pharaoh here, is he gonna get caught out here? The smoke broke. As you can see, the big problem with ISGG's lineup, they don't really have an initiator besides Snaking.
Well, he did just get his Blink Dagger as well, and Yor is sitting here with Infest. They might be looking to try and take a fight pretty soon now. Although, do they walk right now? It does look like they're going to scout out that Snaking has his dagger. So they see this big movement off to the side. Now, Francis Lee slowing down Butterfly. Hero is here as well. They're going to hook shot in. Connects onto one. Global comes out immediately, though. And now they duel up the Clockwork, trying to bring him down. They will find that kill. Moo decides he just wants to get the hell out of here. As Firo is going to be ran down. 3-person boulder match is pretty good, but the light strike rate is a little bit better. And Firo now getting chased down. They still have Moo on the backside of this fight. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to stop it. Now another stun comes out. They try and kill it off, but a triple from CCNC. 2 for the price of 1 with that Dragon Slave. And a great fight for his GG. They're continuing to stomp through this game.
If only Swindles was able to get off the cogs during that. So what Swindle did, he hooked, he battery assaulted, and then the ulti came off. Whereas if he had like battery assaulted first, then hooked, then cogged, he would have got off the combo. And then they would have killed off the Lina. And then that team fight would have looked really good for them. Unfortunately, it didn't happen like that. Sand King presses one button, wins them the team fight. And then also, another thing to note is Earth Spirit went into that team fight. He didn't actually have enough mana to cast Silence. That he just casted his ulti and then wasn't able to do anything afterwards. And he didn't land the biggest of stuns either. So Z-Freak having a little bit underperformance here on the Earth Spirit. And then this complexity, trying to find fights around the map, but it's not coming easy for them.
Uh-oh. And Swindles, they try and guess where he's at. He needs to get out of here right now. Unfortunately, well, Cogs push back. They think could still chase here if they want, but they're expected they TP'd. Although they know it was on his backpack, so he's still going to be sticking around for a bit. Oh, wait. They find him? Thinking? They have their scan right now on cooldown, so aren't going to be able to catch that Clockwork.
But with that last team fight, Lina now has her Bloodstone. Sand King also has his ultimate back up. This is looking very good for IzGG. Spectre isn't even close to anything. So, and the only way for Spectre to really get back into this game is to kind of farm, but since TA doesn't have the best start either, she needs to have her Deso, her Blink Dagger. This is pretty much the time for IzGG to just get anything they want out of the map.
And they're taking out the stacks that were built up in the Dire Jungle. They're going to be able to farm the whole thing away before they get ready to take the Tier 2 tower. Nina is building towards the Shadow Blade as well, so this is going to be another one of those items that can punish any split pushing that you might end up seeing from Spectre, who still is a little ways away from finishing off that Hand of Midas. I'll say this, that I kind of like the Hand of Midas in some ways better than I would have previously for Spectre, because now you get so much more out of her talents because of how good they are. Then it's kind of okay in some ways. Like, getting levels is equivalent to getting an item if you can get to that like level 20 mark.
If you can get that plus 20 strength, this hero becomes godlike if you have a heart. So just a synergy between those two, but it's gonna be hard for him. We kind of saw something. Oh, best bomb. Here we go.
Yeah, that's some dual damage right there, and no way to stop it.
Another cool thing to note during the last team fight is a way to counter Spectre. You can just press your silencer ulti right as he presses it, and then if he didn't press the hotkey, which is T or reality, into the team fight, then Spectre can't come to the team fight, the original one, and then that's a way to counter the Spectre as well. And that we can see that happen in these team fights. So you normally want to wait until like 3-4 seconds to come in sometimes as a Spectre, but against a silencer, you're forced to immediately come into the team fights. Else you're gonna be screwed unless you're kind of nearby the team fight. Then it's kind of fine. Like, you TP in near a team fight, you also use like your dagger and stuff. So there's ways to around it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, in general, I think it's going to be a problem dealing with global silence as a whole. Like you mentioned, Spectre, the way that he has to deal with it is Francis Lee's going to pick up a little medallion for himself after the casual buckler.
He's got 22 armor, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a tankier ogre before.
But that's the thing, right? Is like, who else on this team really deals with global well? None of them. And all of these heroes need a way to deal with global silence, because otherwise you're just going to lose the team fight. Particularly with so many great initiation tools, like Sand King Duel is just going to force the fight no matter what. And Ogre Ogre really doesn't care at all. Like,
Think about the... They're gonna catch him out here. They know he's here. Oh, doesn't have blink.
That was a little bit of a misplay there. They are going to be able to find the duel in the jungle while the initiation went up top.
Ford scouted them
onto-
out, so there's not much you can really do there. Trying to farm every bit of the map for complexity as safely as they can. Eventually, you're gonna get caught. They just can't fight right now.
Yeah.
And then to go back, Ogre, once he gets this Solar Crest online, TA is gonna have a very hard time of dishing out more DPS because of the plus armor and the evasion. So I'm very worried for complexity after they didn't do much with their start. Spectre got shut down. Can't even go on CCNC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens. These things happen. CCNC backs out. They are not going to be able to find that kill, and now complexity kind of in no man's land. You still do have the Midas going on the Spectre. You've got your Midas as well, though, for the Lifestealer and the Silencer. So, yeah, and now they found another one. This is going to be a kill on to Moo. 13-4. I'm struggling to find where you go now for complexity.
Yeah, they have a 14,000 gold lead. At 21 minutes, this is looking very rough for them. And it's just too much pressure was put on the Earth Spirit this game as well as Clockwork to do stuff. Like, if they don't play perfectly this game, then this is the outcome. And I would say they're actually playing maybe like to 70%, but so complexity hasn't been playing that bad this game. It's just like there's just too many ways to save ISGG's like initiation. And we saw the Silencer ultis coming in. We have the Legion Commander just completely taking over the game with these blink ends, and then well, they're gonna siege this mid tower, and there's just no rebuttal from the other side.
And you saw right there as well, I mean, complexity were able to witness the movement in towards them and just running at them. And there was literally nothing that they could do to stop it. Moo is just having to hide away in the trees here. It was just not a better answer. Snake gonna head off to the side. Maybe gonna see if he can find himself a Spectre pick off, but Spectre's hiding in the trees, and it looks like they're just doing everything they can to keep their cores safe. Firo is being held and hammered in by two heroes here, and then Snaking ready to jump whenever Spectre shows her face at all.
So, cool little thing this game is once you get Bloodlusted on Lina, you got max movement speed with your Fiery Soul. Please Bloodlust them. Why would you Bloodlust Ivor? That is not an important guy. So he's got 504 with Phase Boots. Just the mobility coming in from ISGG is getting out of there. We talk about how they don't have any like blink dagger heroes, but the move besides the Legion, but once they get this extra movement speed online, they're just able to transverse the map so quickly and then set up for these kills.
Well, and like you said, complexity playing is about as good as you can. They split push when possible. They TP out as soon as there's somebody that makes a little bit of a rotation in, and they're able to trade off towers at least a little bit, but now they have all of their tier 2s down, and they're continuing to just be sort of, you know, strangled into their base at this point. Yawar, there's literally nobody else around him right now, but he feels safe as hell. And it might actually end up being to his own detriment. The Clockwork Hook comes in, they end up throwing out the Hulk, but the Silence is there as well. And as you mentioned, there's no way for them to get here to the other Spectre illusions, but, well, a good stun comes out from Z-Freak that probably saves at least one life. But now the TA in trouble, the tip of the grave, there's the duel onto the Dazzle, Silence as well, but it's not going to keep him alive. Yawar is now on top of and killing off Swindle. 4 dead from complexity, high ground in sight, and they're not looking back at all.
Yeah, this is just brutal. They really need to get more stuff done. There's just not much that can be done. No TA buyback, no haunt. This is at least one set of racks. It should be 2. And then afterwards, there's just really no hope for complexity in this game.
Yeah. The Ogre here just continuing to stand tall, not be afraid of anything. You know, ISGG just the other day 2-0'd Thunderbirds. They ended up losing to them 2-0 today. But I've been seeing a lot of really solid play out of this team, and unlike some of the other teams, they're also showing restraint when they're ahead. How far do you think this team's ceiling is? Because when it came together, I don't think many people were expecting much of it.
I think the reason why they're just having so much success right now is because Lee is doing a really good job of understanding the core position. He's probably watching a lot of replays, studying. He plays a crap ton too. So does CNC. And so they understand kind of like map movements and everything. And then the way that Stan King wants to play around with his lineup and then kind of micromanages a lot of stuff. They've been looking really good, but at the same time, you just give CNC Lena every single time, and then you just see what happens. So eventually,
oh no, oh no, another missed hook there, but they are still going to get the magnetize out. Try and reapply it here onto the Lena. Doesn't actually end up happening. Does get the silence off, but now Swindle's hiding as best as possible. Lena is moving very quick. That's a triple kill for CNC. 20 bloodstone charges and about to finish off as well with Shiva's guard. Oh, it is about as bad as it can look for Complexity right now.
I mean, at this point, GG can wait for the next Roche if they really want to before going high ground. They just got the BKB on Legion, probably wait for that to come out. Still think they can just siege high ground. Let's see, what can they really hurt them with high ground siege? They have the Clockwork Hook into maybe a blink in from the TA, but with the amount of armor that you can put onto the Lifestealer with the Solar Crest, and I'm not sure if there's even a way for a Lifestealer to die when they just siege, if they just siege the high ground.
Yeah. Not to mention if they wait for the next Aegis if they have to. It's looking quite rough. They do have an AC queued up for snaking right now, even though Lifestealer's already finished one off. We'll see if they end up adjusting that in the future, but it seems like right now they know the path to victory and they know what they need to take. As far as Complexity is concerned, they're going to make a smoke movement here. I wouldn't be surprised if this didn't work if they even just think about GGing and moving on to the next game. But if they could find Silencer, it would be a huge pickup. Looks like they're going to miss the mark on the smoke.
Lifestealer infested to an Ogre. Some good stuff right there.
They'll never expect it. At level 20, getting an extra attack range on the Lena. They're pushing in towards mid. Are they?
They're just
Are they just gonna go tier 4s?
No, they can just go to top now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see how quick. Oh, Dazzle doesn't have a TP. Hero does, but yeah, they need to come back home because their tier 3 tower is already dead. And yep, need to buy some TPs. Need to get back home, but your tier 3 tower is gone. And there's not a whole lot they can do. There's a jump forward, duel onto Dazzle. Global Silence comes out, no way for a save, and Earth Spirit also gonna die in 4 or 5 hits. GG gets called, is most definitely GG.
So the reason why this game looks so bad is because laning stage crippled for ISG.